Oh, there you are, lad. I've been looking all over for you. I didn't want you missing the party like last year. Is everything going alright?
Oh, hey there, Torek. Yeah, I just wanted to get my meditations out of the way before actually coming to the party. I realized a few years ago when Melquiotis came and got me, I really wasn't all that fair to him, so I just wanted to get my meditations out of the way here first of all before actually joining everyone at tonight's party.
It seems like you've been having something on your mind. Could you be sharing it with me, lad?
Well, I guess for starters, we finally got Mr. Smite's improv all set up and everything. We have a lot of people actually watching our shows, and that's all that I could ever ask for. I mean, we might not get a lot of people, but I feel like we've at least made a start in the right direction. What do you think?
Aye, lad. I can definitely say I've had a lot of fun actually being the doorman for a lot of those shows, and I can definitely say I've been enjoying acting as the Mr. Smite. But I'd be betting me beard that something else be on your mind too.
You're definitely right on one account. I feel like with all of the people we've actually reached out to and all the people we've actually entertained, I feel like we've only just touched the surface. We haven't really entertained that many people. I mean, I still like to think that I've actually reached out to those people, but yet at the same time, I don't feel like I've actually just entertained those large crowds that I've always dreamed about actually entertaining.
I can definitely see that. Definitely looks like that somebody here actually wants to be a celebrity.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, I feel like, what if that celebrity status could actually help do some good around here? With the Legion attacking and everything, I feel like with my skills as being an entertainer, I'm making people's days better because I'm making them laugh. We're making them laugh. But I suppose it's just going to take a lot more work on our part to get to that point.
Well, lad, I'm going to be heading back up to the party, so don't stay out here too long. Kabadika's really looking forward to his punch bowl trick again.
Don't worry, Torek. I'll be up there shortly.
Greetings, friends. I am Dreyfus Xano, and while Dreyfus and Torek head up to their party and everything, I just wanted to do a vlog here. This is going to be a sort of a state of the channel vlog. I think I like how I did this a couple of years ago, so I want to actually try doing this every 6 months. So the next one probably being in the summer, and then the next one I'll do a little bit better to make sure that it comes out like around New Year's of 2018. But first of all, take a look at those numbers that you see up there. Normally, to anybody else, those numbers really wouldn't mean anything. But to anybody specifically being a YouTuber, those numbers have some specific meanings. So, for those of you that don't know, 100,000, 1 million, and 10 million are milestones for YouTubers, which will get you a silver, gold, and diamond play buttons, respectively. Now, the silver play button is usually just a standard 8x10 sort of a thing, just in like a, I don't know what it looks like, I don't have one obviously. The gold play button comes in like this big giant case that has the play button inside of it, and I've only seen the diamond play button like 2 or 3 times. I've seen Jimmy Fallon's one that he got. I saw the Brett and Link's one when they got theirs, and I think I saw Markiplier's when he was on Rosanna Pansino's show a couple of times. So, yeah, I think that for the purposes of this here, it's not going to be super specific, only because it's going to be one of the first ones I've actually set up. But this sort of state of the channel vlog is sort of going to be a little bit more general, only in regards to these 3 numbers up here. So, I've done a bunch of thinking over the last 2 months, about like October and November of last year, and what do I want to do? And this sort of goes back to one of the last vlogs I mentioned here previously in regards to where do I see myself in 50 years, and what sort of legacy do I want to actually leave for those that for my future generations. But I have a list here on my iPad in front of me, and I'm not going to necessarily go over it here, so there's going to be a link down below where you can actually read this entire list. And essentially just what it is that I've done here is just have some pipe dreams, and I want to just come up with ideas. And they may not be super realistic, but at least it's a start for me getting to those 3 numbers up there. And I'm just going to mention a couple of them. I'm not going to go through all of them again. A couple of my goals for 2017 is to set up a Patreon and be 100% supported by it, by fans, by the end of 2017. Now, there'll be a link down below here to my Patreon that I have set up for myself. But as of the recording of this vlog, I've yet to actually get any Patreons into it. And I only blame myself for that, only because when I set up my Patreon, I really didn't have a lot of videos out here to be encouraging of that, so I guess that's more of a learning experience for me. So that's going to be one thing I'm going to learn to start updating a little bit more, and I think I'm going to start updating it more and more once I do actually get some patrons. So I'm going to do a little bit better working on that. I have sort of a side project too that I like to refer to as the Machinima Renaissance. I've noticed that I've seen a handful of other YouTubers be machinimators, but it's sort of had been a dying art after the Oxhorns and Mims and everything. So something I want to do is actually be the official spokesman for the Machinima Renaissance, or in this case for the WoW Model Viewer. With the WoW Model Viewer 2, what it is that I had done, I think I'll put a picture up here somewhere, of when the WoW Model Viewer actually became updated for Legion. And in all honesty, that up there, when I posted that image up there, I got like 50 likes on it, and that was very surreal. And I know it wasn't for me per se, but just the fact that something that I posted got liked over 50 times, and I believe retweeted 80 times, was just really, again, surreal. And a couple of other things too is that in order for me to learn how to do this a little bit better, I'm going to be doing some tutorials fairly soon, sort of how I go through my process. I didn't necessarily set up a tier for going through my editing process through my Patreon, but I think this is more for me just to, again, learn how to do this better, because, again, I am dedicated to wanting to actually give proper, decent content, quality content, as best as I can on a consistent basis. And I should also mention something, too. I have been watching a lot of other YouTubers who are at the 50,000 mark, 100,000 mark and everything, who are just killing themselves in regards to getting content out there. I want to make sure that when I'm working on this, I'm doing the best job that I can, but I'm going to mention right now that I do not want to burn myself out just going non-stop 24/7 when I still have a job. I don't have that Patreon fully funding me yet. I have no intention of actually just burning myself out, just going ham and everything, and just doing all of my editing just non-stop like that. I think that would actually burn out my creative faculties and everything, so I'm not going to necessarily just go 24/7 video editing, but there are going to be a couple of times that I will take breaks occasionally. Usually Saturdays and Sundays are my days off and everything. So There may be 1 or 2 times that I take some extended breaks, and maybe I'll set up some vlogs then. But essentially, I want to make sure I'm doing this on a consistent basis, but I also want to be enjoying it. If this is going to be that long-time job, then I want to make sure that I'm enjoying myself while I am doing this. So I have plans to make more Mr. Smite's improvs that are machinimated, more machinimated Overwatches. I have a series in mind called Dynamic Return. I think up here, I'll post the first episode just as a very brief link. And that's sort of an unofficial spin-off of Oxhorn's Dynamic Action Team. As a very brief synopsis, Dynamic Action Team involved 3 characters from Team Fortress 2 of a very older show called Sliders, which allowed, in other words, just time travel. But in this series, the 3 characters from Team Fortress 2 would travel from game to game, and for some reason, I don't know a lot of the specifics, the series was just 5 episodes long and ended up in the Left 4 Dead series. Now with that, as me being an improviser, what my plan is doing is making this just a 5-episode miniseries as sort of an actual story that I can tell, sort of yes-anding Oxhorn's series, and then essentially gonna go into the Team Fortress 2 world, jump to a couple of other games and everything, eventually ending up in the Left 4 Dead series, rescuing the Dynamic Action Team, in a matter of speaking, and putting my own few creative twists in there again and again. And sort of bringing them back to the Team Fortress 2 world, and sort of giving me a launching post for another series I sort of have in mind that's going to be a spin-off of that. So, let's see here too. I have a project that I'm going to simply title Apple Log, but I'm not going to go into too much detail into that right now. But it's sort of going to be a tribute to my mom that's right there as one of them, and there's another one that I'm going to be doing too. A lot of these goals were essentially, I want to do some collaborations with some other machinimators and other singers. So there's Charm, there's Gigi, there's Silver Latomi that I know of, and I want to sort of get my singing prowess up here. So it's not going to be something that I do super often, but I've been digging through just the standard YouTube music folders and everything for just standard royalty-free music, and I want to see if I can actually create some other raps and musics and songs and everything just to get my skills up, and maybe have that be another consistent thing along with Mr. Smite's improv too. So I want to actually do some collaborations with Charm, Gigi, Silver Latomi, and keep setting something up here, so just maybe have it be my own personal network where just more and more content is just continually released. And also further collaborations. And I think here too that I'm going to make it my goal here, currently as of the recording of this video, I'm 106 subscribers strong, so again, thank you for all your support for those of you that are subscribed to me right now. But I think it's about time that I start pushing myself so that I can get to those 3 numbers that were up there, the 100,000, the 1 million, and the 10 million. So as of right now, again, by the end of 2017, I want to get to at least 1,000 subscribers by 2018. Now, I may actually earn that by the next time I do the next State of the Channel here, and it may take me doing arm motions to get there, but it may happen in 2018. Who knows? So I think probably what I'll do is, come the next State of the Wall, when I do this in 6 months, I'll reevaluate my subscriptions at that point in time, if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll make another milestone at that point in time. But I think, long story short, it's about time that I get to those three milestones. Obviously, I don't intend to reach those milestones this year, but it's essentially that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And I'm going to post another, again, pointing in the wrong directions here. I'm going to post another video right over there, too. This was a Machinimated intro that I made for Good Mythical Morning. It'd be nice if I could actually get played there, but I don't think they've had any gaming segments recently, so I guess it sort of doesn't make sense for it to actually be there. But if you see this video, share it with the GMM guys, because it would essentially be, I can mark this off my bucket list, that I've had something on GMM actually be played there. Also, recently the Warcraft movie came out, and going all MST3K on it, or riff tracks on it. I want to actually do a riff of it, but I still need to get it, still need to watch it, and prepare a couple of riffs here for it so I can write some stuff down. And I want to actually do that with my Xanoic Brotherhood cast. Sortinary, if I can get her, Trixie, Vileona maybe, etc. One other thing too was setting up some workshops in Wormrest Accord for doing improv. I don't know a lot about improv, but I'm still learning, I'm still improving, getting better and better. So I want to make sure that I'm being as transparent with you as I possibly can. If there's things that I hide, then I have a reason for doing that, but I am going to make it my goal to be as transparent as I can here, and essentially putting everything out on the table so that this is me, this is the world that I live in. And I haven't necessarily done like a house tour yet, because my apartment's not the best looking at the moment, but again, transparency. So improv workshops, Autism Awareness Month. So Autism Awareness Month is coming around in this next coming April, so I'm going to take March and have that be my setup month. And now that I'm actually streaming on twitch.tv/DriveXano, I can now take that, and for my next ribbon event, we're actually we're gonna go to Nomradon again, go to the Frozen Lake, and actually do the whole ribbon thing again. We're going to stream that, so I actually have a recording of it as opposed to just snapshots. So because I'm doing that now, one of my other ideas too was to do just a full day gaming stream. So streaming Overwatch, maybe streaming StarCraft or Diablo, streaming a bunch of different games. It's still in the idea phase right now, so I haven't really thought it all out here. But what I want to do, I want to actually donate money to an autism charity or nonprofit organization or something. When I first learned that I was on the autism spectrum, I went to a place that was nearby here, referred to as Autism Journeys. I tried reaching out to the Autism Journeys people, but I haven't been able to actually get back in contact with them, and so I haven't heard from them. And I've heard a bunch of other places are around, but I don't know of some good places to actually donate money to. I'm currently in a group right now referred to as Asperger's Experts. I like to donate some money to them, but they're not technically a charity, they are a business, I think. So I'd like to set something up here so come future Autism Awareness Months for 2018, 19, 20, I want to start actually donating money and actually giving back to the community. Because again, for me, I didn't learn I was on the spectrum until I graduated from college. And again, I've already mentioned that in my previous vlog every day in April. But that was essentially that. So I have a bunch of music video ideas. Again, the last music video idea that I did have was my Forever video, unless I'm blanking. I know I'm referring to Storm RP, but that's technically not a music video. So there's a bunch of ideas that I've had. I want to actually machinimate one of the theme songs from the Disney's Tarzan movie, Strangers Like Me, that's what it was. Again, because this is a Tarzan movie, Tarzan is Tarzan, of course, I thought it'd be interesting to actually take that song, mix it together for autism awareness, and see if I can actually craft it together for autism awareness. Let's see, I have a bunch of gaming PSAs I want to do. I'm going to post another thing up here of something that I did a long time ago was the My Name is Dreyfus Sano and I'm a Human Warrior segments. It was one of those really old commercials for WoW in regards to I'm a this and I'm an XYZ. I realized that when I got to Kabatica and Torek, I never really got around to doing their character thing. So it's going to be sort of a minor reboot. I should also mention this too with Dynamic Return. Dynamic Return and these character introductions are going to be sort of a minor reboot of my channel. I know I'm still getting started and everything, but it's sort of this thing too that currently, if you see a lot of my previous videos just in general, I intentionally don't use the high definition models, only because it wouldn't make sense for me to just go from the standard definition models to the high definition models. I want to actually have a reason for doing that. So there's going to be a reason in Dynamic Return when we actually get to them, and then I think after Dynamic Return actually finishes, I'm going to have the minor reboot of all the character introductions and everything to actually introduce them. And also, another reason why I haven't done them is that whenever the WoW model viewer actually goes down or it stops working, I have a bank of other animations I can just pull from, so I technically don't need them. But essentially, when I go to the high definition models, that means that I'm going to have to go to the WoW model viewer, re-record all of my characters over and over again for future Mr. Smite's improvs and everything, and then just get another bank of those high definition models, because again, I really don't know when the WoW model viewer is going to go down again, and if it's going to be another 2-3 months when the next model viewer actually comes around. So I realize that sort of a ticking time bomb here. I need to make sure that, again, I'm starting to deliver content into the channel itself. And let's see here too. I had an idea of actually doing a parody of Radioactive as Gelbin Mechatork and Sicko Thermoplug fighting each other. I thought that'd be fun. I have an idea for doing a Dark Moon Fair parody. I'm not going to necessarily mention this here right now, but there is a Project Applemog. I'll go into that into detail in a little bit later on. So Radioactive. If you've ever played a 3DS game referred to as Elite Beat Agents, I was very inspired by that game, even though I wasn't really good at it. One of the songs later on in that game is what was it? Without a Fight, and it was a really upbeat song, and I was so inspired from it that I wanted to make a music video for it during the Kata era, but I just didn't get enough inspiration for it, or I just perseverating on other things that I never really got around to doing it. Now that we have time walking, I could actually revisit that. I have another side project referred to as the Gnome Initiative, where I want to actually see the gnomes get Gnomergon back. And I've sort of been RPing with not really Sicko Thermoplug on Twitter, but I've been going sort of back and forth with him, sort of taunting him a little bit about how he's never going to give up Gnomergon here and everything, but at least as far as I'm concerned, I want to see Gnomergon back, even if it doesn't mean necessarily the actual place itself, I want to make sure that Gnomergon, or the gnomes, get a home back. A Neo Gnomergon or something like that. So that's sort of a plan that I have, something that I'm going to call the hashtag No Initiative. And sort of going to a couple of milestones again, sort of seeing when I get to 1,000, 50,000, 100,000. I'm sort of going to plan out a couple of thank you videos when I do eventually get to that point. I don't know when I'm going to hit these 3 numbers up here, but I feel like I am going to hit them, but it's going to take a lot of work on my part. But what I was getting at is, again, I'm not going to go into too much details about these projects, but I think maybe when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I have an idea for a project called the Perplexed Plumber, and then also probably 20,000, 50,000, somewhere around there, I have an idea for a project called Red-Haired Maestro. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that is something I'm planning on doing too. And I realize I'm probably being a little bit rambly here again, but there are just 3 last things that I want to mention here too before I actually post the list that you're looking at, that you're going to be seeing. So, again, I want to earn the silver, gold, and diamond play buttons at some time down in the near future. That is a pipe dream. And again, I'm going to specifically call it a pipe dream. If I never get it, then obviously I didn't work hard enough or something. But that is a goal right up there. Now, also here too, as 3 other pipe dreams I was going to mention, eventually at some point down the road, mark my words, I want to actually be interviewed on Good Mythical Morning and improvise with Rhett and Link. Now, maybe their show format may change sometime in the near future, but I am personally making my goal, as of the recording of this video, sometime down the road to get on that show, to actually improvise with them. If I can do that, then I'll consider that a mark off of this bucket list of mine. Now, also, I want to actually get on the show Nerdy Nummies with Rosanna Piancino. This is a girl that I've been following on the internet, and I believe she has over 1 million subscribers. I'm not going to go into an exact number, but she is somebody that actually makes nerdy, geeky treats and snacks and cakes and stuff like that. And I thought it would be fun if I could, sometime down the road when I hit the millions club, whenever that is, get on that show and maybe bake something for autism awareness. There is somebody else that I follow on the internet by the name of Gerard Khalil, the Completionist. He is somebody that plays a video game and completes it 100% and then sort of documents his journey. I've sort of been inspired by him, not only because we share a birthday being January the 3rd, but also he was sort of an inspiration here to me to do what it is I do here. So I want to actually do a collaboration with him sometime in the near future and review the game, either Gauntlet Legends or Gauntlet Dark Legacy, or maybe one of the 2 Rapid games for PS1 and PS2. Let's see, have WoW Twitter and play Overwatch Twitter, like one of my tweets, and generally overall be recognized in the Twitter communities, WoW, Overwatch, things like that, and just start to make a name for myself. Again, it's this weird thing that I've been going through in the last couple of months here that just, I don't know what to do with my life, and I think this list of my pipe dreams is going to be a good start for me doing that. And this is in no way an actual final list. I may actually end up adding a lot of stuff into this list. But one other pipe dream is that I'm a big fan of the show Power Rangers. I still have a pipe dream of actually wanting to be a Power Ranger at some point. But the thing is, I'm not that athletic, but I have a lot of ideas. One thing I want to do is actually learn Maya, learn more After Effects, learn more Premiere, and when I actually get to a good point, I want to actually make my own personal fan series using all of my WoW characters, creating my own Power Rangers Node Brotherhood series, and just make a whole 30 episodes. Because maybe that'll get picked up and maybe somebody will take notice of that. Who knows? But that's just one of my pipe dreams too, of wanting to actually make a series that's fully rendered, fully animated by me, and just done by me. Sans the sound, of course. I'm not that good at actually audio editing or mixing music. And there's a bunch more stuff here too, but I think I've pretty much covered the majority of things that I at least wanted to mention here. So, long story short, I still have a lot more videos to set up for my Patreon. I'd like to be funded by that by the end of 2017, but that means that I really need to kick it in a high gear so that I'm getting more content out there. I think probably when I finish this vlog here, my next project will either be the character introductions, or another Mr. Smite's improv, or another quest for the play of the game. But again, my goal is to get at least 2 videos out a month, or at least 1 video out a week, even if it is a vlog like this. And I think probably the last thing that I'll mention here before I actually wrap up this vlog is I'm sort of been considering making 2 additional channels, one for tutorials and one for gameplay. I've been sort of going through my video manager on YouTube, and there's another my first Let's Play that I actually did was for the Duels of the Planeswalker series, which I'll link up here too. But I guess it sort of confused me going through the actual video manager. If I wanted to do further Let's Plays of the Duels of the Planeswalker series, I still fully intend on actually revisiting that too. But I'm not necessarily sure if I want to just branch it out on its own YouTube channel, or just make 2 others. So I'm not fully decided on that just yet, but you may hear a different announcement come 6 months. So I want to do more Let's Plays, I want to do some tutorials, some machinima, and I think what I'm going to do here too is do a couple of just mini vlogs, where maybe I just record myself saying, here's your quick tip of the day, use a Bluetooth speaker, because those are really nice to use, or here's your quick tip of the day, if you right click on your desktop, then you can change your settings here. Currently I work in tech support myself, so I'm going to come up with some other ideas, just so I can start getting some content onto my channel on a monthly basis. So you see me, you see my characters, you see my machinima, and so I'm going to start thinking up some ideas here, and I'm going to get started on actually working on some more music videos here. So I'm going to start seeing if I can I want to see if I can create at least 2 or 3 more music videos throughout this year, and sort of gauge how long it actually takes me to make the next one, the Tarzan one, and then see what happens come next Christmas in October, November. So again, I'm super rambly here, but I think this sort of gives you a good general overall idea of what it is you can expect from me. And again, this list is in no way final or anything. It's nowhere near complete, and I'm probably going to add 1 or 2 more things by the time I actually upload this actual vlog. But I think I'm going to leave it at that for right now. So again, for all of the 106 subscribers that I have as of this recording, again, I do want to say thank you for still sticking with me here, being patient with me while I still learn all of my skills and everything. But again, you are in for a real treat here once I get everything properly set up here, once I get dynamic return set up, all these things here. I think it's about time that I stop hyping up my channel and actually start getting out some content. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for right now. But again, I'm Xano, and until next time, be you, be yourself.